find our bodies. Have our mind, our attention unified with our bodies. So there's no wiggle room where our mind and body are mingling. They're one taste. The taste of presence, that combination of awareness and embodiment. And that one taste brings us to what the Buddha called ekagata, single-pointedness, one-pointedness, the one point that connects us with everything. So how do we immerse ourselves in this sea of existence? How do we feel that connection with life as we bring our mind into our body and our body into our mind? We keep this connection, this mind-body connection, as long as it lasts, not missing any part of our whole body, not missing any part of each wave of breath. Enjoying this intimacy that is experienced as the attention sinks into the body and the waves of sensation that are created when the body breathes. Sticking into the sensations, sustaining them through the duration of the in-breath and the out-breath. And not leaving that sense of intimacy with the body, even if there's a space between the breaths. So intimate with this felt experience of our body that we cannot find a dividing line between body and everything. A sameness, inside, outside, all around, all the sameness of presence, supported by this anchor of body and breath. Just this moment. Just this living present. Just this fading of the story of time. Just immersion in life, right where it touches us. And any moment when we have jumped into time, gotten absorbed in our imagined past or future, worries, plans, when we wake up to where we are, we use that as a signal to reconnect with this living experience of breath, body, this moment. Just simplicity, just senses, just awareness. completely void of strain or excess effort. Just the gentle encouragement of staying here. Just this moment. Just aware. Just breathing. And then if sounds come, it's just hearing. Moods come, it's just feeling. Thoughts come, it's just thinking. No problems to solve. Just light. Just this breath. and staying connected to the body and breath. It's okay to enjoy that intimacy, enjoy the body's experience of its own existence, its own breathing, its own aliveness, vibration, pleasant, unpleasant, somewhere in between, however it is. We keep our mind in our body and our body in our mind. Just sinking into the living present, welcoming the unfolding now. Just this moment. If you realize that there's struggle in the mind, or strain, or tension, just notice that. Recognize that awareness does not struggle. Awareness just knows. And sometimes it knows that struggle is arising. But in noticing it, we drop it. We don't cling to it, feed it, identify with it. We just know this is struggle. The same with dullness. We notice this is dullness. We drop it. We gently refresh ourselves. Wake up. Just be aware. Know what we're aware of: breath, body, sounds, moods. Not trying to get anywhere, make something happen, just settle back into the moment. The intention to be continuously aware. Just this. Great pleasure to sit with you. Nice to see you, Linda Atkins. Blessed when you stop in. And the rest of you, of course. I was inclined to begin the next phase of our evening with opening the space to some questions, comments, descriptions. But before I do that, I just kind of wanted to let out what I was noodling about during the sitting, some of the things I was thinking about today. And even as I'm beginning to say it now, I'm forgetting what it was. But a few things came to mind. One was a line from the Venerable Ajahn Chah, the Thai forest master, who described the awakening process, at least a part of the awakening process, as becoming sick of what you like and what you don't like. Both what you like and what you don't like. And I've read that before. I've heard it, variations on that theme. I've thought about it, but I thought about it in a different way tonight as we were sitting. Because what was occurring, what I was pointing to in the instructions tonight, and I hope it's relevant to you and your practice and your life, is that when we are bound up in our lives, if I am bound up in what I like and what I don't like, if my mind is spinning and liking and disliking, I am unable to see, I'm ignoring the real source of relief for myself and the world. And that real source of relief is the light of attention. That is, I speak about so often, is truly the only reliable refuge within this life, is the very light of awareness through which we're perceiving, that is unaltered by whatever we are aware of, unaltered by ups and downs, unaltered by our likes and our dislikes. But when my mind is spinning in likes and dislikes, I'm unaware of the nourishment, the source of well-being that is the very moment that I am aware and awake. It's why we wake up. Because we wake up out of being bound up in liking and disliking, which is often the part of the preoccupation. You know, the word for worry in Spanish, all of you better Spanish speakers know this better than I do, but it's preocupado, something like that. Preoccupied, the same word for worry. And the teachings keep reminding us, as they're shared by in the Advaita Vedanta tradition, Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj says, when the mind is free or momentarily free of its preoccupado, free of its preoccupations, it becomes quiet. And if you don't disturb that quiet and you stay in it, you'll discover that it's permeated with a light and a love you've never known, yet you recognize it at once as your natural state. The state of being light, being a field of illumination, you. He says, once you've tasted that sense of being light, being awake, you'll never be the same person again. He says the unruly mind will break that peace and obliterate that vision, but it's bound to return if the effort is sustained till all bonds are broken, grasping and attachment, likes and dislikes are no longer predominant, and life becomes supremely concentrated in the present. And if your life is supremely concentrated in the present, it is engaged with that light, life itself, spirit. Just as I was saying that, I was thinking of from another Advaita teacher, since I'm on that rave right now, the famous ecstatic master Ramakrishna, very venerated, one of the great venerated masters of the last century in India, who used to sit around and meditate and just be absorbed in that light. And then he would open his eyes and he'd be hanging out with people in his garden, and they would be celebrating, in a sense, which is what we do on Tuesday night. We celebrate that light that lives in us. And we remember that this is what, and I spoke of it last week, this is what we have to offer in this world of darkness, in this world of ill will and outrage and greed and hatred. We have this light. And such a blessing to have this light. But Ramakrishna would sit and he would be absorbed in that light, kind of immersed in his practice. And then he would open his eyes and look around at his friends, and then he would just let out these songs. And the one that I'm remembering right now was, he said, "Oh, longing mind, is dwell within the depths of your own your own true nature. Do not seek your home elsewhere. Don't confine your innate infinity within the mansions of finitude, name and form." Then he says, "Your naked awareness alone, O mind, is the inexhaustible abundance for which you long so desperately." And in the Tibetan Book of the Dead, what is it that is maybe the heart teaching of the Tibetan Book of the Dead is remember that. I actually brought it along tonight. Didn't know I was going to read it, but here it is. Remember the clear light, the pure, clear, white light from which everything in the universe comes, to which everything in the universe returns. The original nature of your own mind. The natural state of the universe unmanifest. Let go into the clear light. Trust it, merge with it. It is your own nature, it is home. Now, this is often offered to people who have just died, who are dying. But this is really an instruction, a meditation instruction for our life. And for fulfillment of that aspiration to be awake for the benefit of everyone in this world, especially at this time. To be bound up in our likes and dislikes right now, it's a waste of this glorious light that each of us is. Sorry, I'm editorializing here. Let go into the clear light, trust it, merge with it. It's your own nature, it is home. The visions you experience, all the stuff in our mind, exist within your consciousness. The forms they take are determined by your past attachments, your past desires, your past fears, your past karma. So really what you see as your mind stream day in and day out is the result of what you've practiced. If you want to understand your past, look at your present mind. Then the Padmasambhava also says, if you want to understand your future, look at your present actions. What do you do with your mind? It says these visions really, all this stuff in your mind, it has no reality outside of your consciousness. No matter how frightening some of these may seem, they cannot hurt you. Just let them pass through your consciousness. They will all pass in time. No need to become involved with them. No need to become attached to the beautiful visions. No need to be repulsed by the frightening ones. No need to be seduced and excited by the sexual ones. No need to be attached to them at all. Let them pass. I think we could title tonight's talk, "You Have Bigger Fish to Fry Than Liking and Disliking." No need to be seduced or excited. No need to be attached to them all. Let them pass. If you become involved with these visions, you may wander a long time confused. Just let them pass through your consciousness like clouds passing through an empty sky. Fundamentally, they have no more reality than this. So this is a reminder of, as we pay attention to thoughts, it's not just becoming a great expert at noticing thoughts, but seeing the Dharma in the thought formations. They are empty. They have no substantiality at all. And yet the unknowing mind, the confused mind, totally gets seduced, believes that a thought of myself, the thought of the world, the thought of this, the thought of that is a reality, when it's really just this empty bubble. Remember these teachings. Remember this clear light, the pure, bright, shining white light of your own nature. It's deathless. If you can look into the visions, you can experience and recognize that they're all composed of the same pure, clear white light as everything else in the universe. And no matter where or how far you wander, that light is only a split second, a half breath away. It's never too late to recognize the clear light. And attributed to the Theravada tradition, just in the same theme, never forgetting that this is all about being a light into this world. No matter if things are the way they are, still we want to be a light in this world. But the Buddha is said to have said, I'm not sure, he said, luminous is this mind, brightly shining. But it becomes colored and defiled by colored by the defilements that visit. This, the ordinary person, does not understand, therefore they don't cultivate their mind. Then there's a verse 2, luminous is this mind, brightly shining, but it is untouched by all the defilements that visit it. This the yogi understands, therefore there's cultivation of the mind. And all through the years I've been doing this dedicate, when we do the dedication of merit. It's another thing that came up, and I was thinking about it differently. When I was thinking about the opportunity to nurture and remember this clear light, remember this light of attention that is so close and in some ways is so easy and so wondrous, as the Tibetans would say. But all through the year, I've been, when I do the dedication of merit, always considering that our practice be dedicated to the welfare and benefit of all, and that we give away freely the fruits of whatever we practice. There's 4 parts to it. The first part is, may May all beings be happy and know the causes of happiness, which are virtue and a well-trained heart. May all beings be free of suffering and the causes of suffering, which is non-virtue and an untrained mind. Those are the first two, happy and free of suffering. The third, may I never be separated from the sacred happiness that is without sorrow. May I never be separated may I recognize and never be separated from the sacred happiness that's without sorrow. And I always add to that, which is here and now. Never be separated from that. And then the last part is, may I grow in equanimity and serenity. But that third one, may I never be separated from the sacred happiness that's without sorrow. And just tonight, I just had a deeper appreciation for just not wanting to ever be separated from that light. It's all I really have to offer to this world in all its expressions. Compassion and love and generosity and patience. It all flows from the light of awareness. And how do we become separated from that? Getting caught up in likes and dislikes. Or as poet Hafez says, getting caught up in counterfeit coins. He says that buy you just a moment of pleasure, but then drag you for days like a broken man behind a farting camel. He says you are with the friend now. You have that within you. Even though the voice of depression still calls to you, even though those actions that can ruin your life still send their invitations, Hafez says, you're with the friend now. And you look so much brighter. You can stay that way and even bloom. Keep squeezing drops of the sun from your practice, from your laughter, from the life that lives in you. And learn to recognize those counterfeit coins. Know what actions keep reinforcing that light. And I was reading tonight, it's so funny how and this is relevant to my daughter, who's just now come down from her school, and we're about to travel back to California. I'm actually in Arizona right now at my mom's house. But my wife is going to give my daughter this very famous book of Toltec wisdom called The Four Agreements. Have many of you read that? It sold millions and millions of copies. But we were talking very briefly about the Four Agreements. And the first one is to be impeccable with your word. So one of the ways of reinforcing the light of the pure light of our nature is to speak harmoniously, speak truthfully, speak for the benefit of whoever we're speaking, never to cause harm, never harsh, never gossiping. That would, of course, remove about 98% of our conversations, but nevertheless, we incline toward using our speech. He says, be impeccable with your word. It's mostly just keep your agreements as well. But I was looking at the word, and our words really cause a huge impact. The second one is don't take anything personally. So if liking and disliking, what I want and what I don't want, it's all bound up in identity. For example, when you're straining in the meditation practice, it usually means that your practice has gotten co-opted by identity, by taking what's happening in the practice personally, by turning it into me and mine. And then once awareness gets co-opted by me and mine, then we're trying to make something happen. We're trying to get rid of something. We're doing, we make excessive effort. We get exhausted. We get tense. And this is all about excessively personalizing this very impersonal quality called awareness. It's original. It's nature. It's just here, uncreated. It's deathless. So check it out right now, just being aware. Try not to be aware, and you'll see how obvious and timeless and inexhaustible this very awareness through which we're perceiving is. So be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions. So much of our mind is uh, thinking we thinking we know what's going to happen. No, we don't. We don't. Most of our thoughts are speculations, especially about others. If we could go through one day assuming that each person we're with is a greater expert on their reality than we are, probably get along a lot better. But there's a tendency to make assumptions about people's motivations, where they're coming from, what they should be doing, what they shouldn't be doing, who they are. And it's just obscuring that beautiful light of attention and all the depriving us of all the heart qualities that we can that this world needs more than our opinions. It needs our light more than the opinions. And then last but not least, be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions. Always do your best. And as soon as I said that, I thought of Steph Curry tonight. I don't know how many of you snuck a peek at the TV before the start of, especially Bay Area people, before the start of the evening. But Steph Curry, maybe I shouldn't say this for you DVR recorders, but he broke the record for the most 3-point shots in the history of the game, and did it in 550 games, shorter period of time than the previous person. Just obliterated the records. And this is somebody who clearly is plugged in to that light of attention, and he's just has done his best over and over and over and over. And it really fulfills that daffodil principle that I read, I think last week, for any of you who are here. You keep planting those seeds. You just keep nurturing that light of attention. It really, your mind, body, heart, it'll just all sync together. And when I say that, I just think of one of our Sangha members who's been dealing with a lot of physical, he could be, I don't want to get into the details, but he's been in the hospital and really struggled in the hospital, and still has a lot of uncertainty about what's happening with his health. But I had a conversation with him on Sunday, and he was so inexhaustibly lit up, so deeply imbued with the confidence and faith in that light of awareness. So much devotion just coming from seeing that light in him has been unaffected by even the ravages of things that are happening to his body. And Not to be too idealistic about this. It's because, of course, he has ups and downs too, but I could just, it's like a celebration talking to somebody who's doesn't know their fate. No one does, but he's really in a complete place of uncertainty. Yet it was like having blessings from someone. This is possible for each of us, and this is what our world needs right now, more than our likes and our dislikes. It needs our compassion. It needs that dedication every day to being of benefit and just taking advantage of the blessing of your life and your practice. Easy to forget. Let's see if there's anything else I wanted to. Before I knew I was going to talk about light, I looked down and I saw that remember the clear light. I also in the same neighborhood because I sometimes put things in piles and there's most of the time there's not a lot of rhyme or reason, but sometimes they all seem to end up in the same place. So there were a bunch of quotes from people about light. And so hopefully some of these will be relevant to what we talked about tonight. This one was from MLK, Martin Luther King. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. And then Edith Wharton said, there are two ways of spreading light. To be the candle or the mirror that reflects it. And I do think that our practice does both. It plugs us into that light. Last week I think I described, maybe some of people change each week, but I had 6 days where I had low-grade fever and persistent headache and ocular migraines, and it just seemed kind of unbroken. But then on Tuesday night, I came in here, and when I came out, my wife says, you look so much brighter. And even on the weekend when I was leading this half day, just being immersed in the Dharma field, in the field of light, there's such a healing force to it. And so that light itself gets stronger, the candle gets brighter, but also the clarity of mind. The dust of memory clears, and we can actually see each other with much more clear eyes and open hearts. So the more we can do this, the more we can just remember that clear light. Never be separated from that sacred happiness that's without sorrow, here and now. Let's see if there's any others. From Shakespeare, how far that little candle throws his beams. So shines a good deed in a weary world. Isn't that gorgeous? So shines a good deed in this weary world. Let's see, one more. Walt Whitman. Pointing to another world will never stop vice among us. Pointing to another world will never stop vice among us. Shedding light over this world can alone help us. So I think I've made my point. I hope not too aggressively, but it was fun to remind myself of the light and the potential of clearing, of uprooting the forces of liking and disliking, and the greed and the hatred and the defilements that we often give more attention to. But we have to also be patient. And I'll leave you, before we do a little Q&A, leave you with the words of Francois Fenelon, where he said, as light increases, we see ourselves to be worse than we thought. We are amazed at our former blindness as we see issuing forth from the depths of our heart a whole swarm of shameful thoughts and feelings like filthy reptiles crawling from a hidden cave. We never could have believed that we had harbored such things, and we stand aghast as we watch them gradually appear. But we must neither be amazed nor disheartened. We are not worse than we were. On the contrary, we are better. But while our faults diminish, the light by which we see them waxes brighter, and we are filled with horror. But bear in mind for your comfort that we only perceive our malady when the cure begins. So when we give ourselves to this light of awareness, you inevitably will see it will be fertile ground for the defilements. The purity of mind brings up purification, and we have cycles of purity followed by purification. So the more clearly you see your unwholesome, unhelpful mental habits, it's much more likely, if you're practicing, to be a sign that your practice is working. Or just to put it in the flavor of Bhante Gunaratna, I like his version a lot of that same sentiment. He says, somewhere in the process of meditation, you will come to the realization that you are completely crazy. Your mind is a shrieking madhouse on wheels, barreling down a hill, utterly out of control and hopeless. No problem. You are no worse than you were yesterday. It's always been this way. You just didn't notice. But clearly, you only know your malady when the cure begins. So don't take whatever mental habits, whatever mental illness, don't take that as a sign that you are away from the light. Take it as a sign that the light is getting brighter. And when I say do this all the time, it just means be aware. It doesn't even mean meditate. It means be aware. It doesn't even mean being a meditator. It just means be aware. It doesn't have to be a whole new identity. You just have to be aware. And let yourself just be immersed in that simplicity. And as I've seen, and so many have seen, our life gets a little bit better. The more we let ourselves be aware. And of course, if you can be aware from the time you wake up till the time you go to bed, great. But if we can give our heart to this, our heart to ourselves. Okay, thanks for listening. Any questions, comments, descriptions? Oh, we have some raised hands. Laura, then Devin. Does that seem right, Catherine? Is that the order?
Yes.
Okay, Laura, please.
Howie, thank you so much for this talk tonight. It was one where I felt like you were speaking directly to me. And that piece about the purity and purification was a really helpful reminder. So thank you. And I wanted to share with you that the talk about the daffodil principle last week really touched me so deeply. I shared it with several people. And I just wanted to share a sweet coincidence that came out of that story. I had a dear friend who died back in October, and she died on her 100th birthday. at the exact minute that she was born. And it was really just she was a beautiful person. She was someone who, really just always met life in the way that you described that man in the Sangha. She met it knowing her light. And when I went to her celebration of life this weekend, I went to sign the guest book. And the small photo with her picture in the poem was a photo of daffodils, and attached to it was a bulb. And it was so touching, and it just really reminded me of your talk, and for all of us to remember that it is planted one step at a time over 100 years, over however long we have. And so I thank you for making that so potent.
Thanks for bringing that coincidence that who knows, but thanks for bringing it to the group, and thanks for speaking out. I will say, I don't know if you're aware that your camera is off, Laura.
Yes, I am. So my secret, I think I've mentioned before that I'm a mom and that I'm on the East Coast, and this is my only time to myself. So I do it in the bathtub every week.
Oh, marvelous. Okay. I forgot that part. Sorry you had to remind us, but it is a lovely image.
And so it's better that my camera is off, but thank you.
Great. Thanks for speaking up.
You're welcome.
Take care. Devin, please.
Hey, Howie, how you doing?
Great, thank you.
Good. It was interesting that you talked about light tonight, because quite honestly, I came here for a little bit of support to listen to you talk, and it was really helpful because I'm in a pretty dark place. One of the darkest places I think I've ever been in my life. I'm currently quarantined in Costa Rica. My wedding was on Saturday, and it was a beautiful wedding. And on Sunday morning, I tested positive for COVID to get out of the country, and here I am. And fortunately, my wife, who's heavily immunocompromised, was negative still, and she got out, and so she's back in the United States. But I'm here. I can't leave. I don't have a key to my hotel room. I literally cannot leave my hotel room, and she's there, and I'm worried about her, and there's nothing I can do. And so listening to your talk about light tonight really was helpful, but perhaps in a more real life situation like mine, you might be able to say a thing or two about how to apply some of that to such
just count the enormous blessings that you have, that you have a beloved, she's immunocompromised and negative, that you currently, and you can really use this time. You are equipped to use this time to really immerse yourself in well-being, and you have a choice not to spend it worrying, not to spend it involved in what you like and what you don't like, but in just being really interested in what it is that happens, how it is that you're there, and just use every moment to nurture your practice. I was just reading, I don't know if it was on Saturday or whether it was the previous week in Vancouver, but I read that passage from or maybe it was last Tuesday, the passage from Nelson Mandela, who spent 29 years in a cell and practiced every day, and totally became illuminated by studying his tendencies, studying his mind. And he just talked very beautifully about how we can use that for the betterment of ourselves and the people who ultimately have to live around us. So you are on retreat right now. You know what that's like. You've been on retreat with me.
That's what she told me. She says you should use this as another retreat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know how to do this. Anyway, I'm sorry that you're going through that, but I'm not worried about you at all.
Yeah. Just for the record, I had a booster. It's just, I feel like a certain amount of responsibility that, I got infected, but I've been living in a bubble for 2 years, and it's just, there's almost not, I don't know. I just wanted to share that.
Yeah. So how about your symptoms? Are your symptoms
Nothing.
workable?
I have nothing. I mean, I have like a little cough, but it could have been, I always have a little cough. So fortunately I'm fine, but any day now she could test positive, and obviously that's really scary for somebody like her.
And she's well boosted as well?
She is, yeah, but you don't know what's going to happen.
Anyway, I'm really happy you joined us tonight, and I
Thank
hope
you.
all goes well for everyone.
Thanks, Howie.
Thank you.
And thank you, everybody.
Anyone else before we say good evening to each other? Well, thanks for hanging in there with us. As always, we like to consider that our time together is not just frivolous, that it has benefits, it has fruits, it has merit, it has goodness, has blessings, and we offer it freely to everyone. With that wish, that same wish that we have for ourselves implicitly, we make it explicit that all beings can be happy and peaceful and know the causes of happiness and peace, that all beings can be free of suffering and know the cause and be free of the causes of suffering, that all beings can recognize the sacred happiness that's without sorrow here and now, never be separated from it. And a deep wish that all beings grow in serenity and equanimity, able to meet the joys and the sorrows with less reactivity. And I know that there's greater assurance of that if we remember the clear light. So may all beings, may all of us be liberated. So please feel free to say good evening. That's one of the ways we share our light. So good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Thank you, Howie.